There might not be any kind of breakup that is more traumatizing than an abrupt, blindsiding discard from a dismissive avoidant or a fearful avoidant that leans dismissive. It is truly traumatizing. That's because it happens out of nowhere. And it usually happens after you've just had a wonderful time together. Perhaps you had a wonderful romantic weekend getaway or a romantic holiday. Maybe you met their family and their family met yours, and your family loved them and their family loved you. Everything seemed perfect. Maybe there was even a big event, like you went ring shopping together. You felt like you had met your person. You felt like you had met your match, your twin flame. You felt seen, wanted, and you felt that you had your person that you were going to spend the rest of your life with. And then you go and have this wonderful time with them, and the very next day, you're getting a text message. I can't give you what you need. I'm just not ready for a relationship right now. I need time and space to work on myself. My romantic feelings for you are gone, and I'm not sure why. You deserve someone that can love you the way you deserve to be loved. And the excuses are vague and they're nonsensical, and you can't wrap your head around it. It makes no sense. Just yesterday, this person was telling you that you made them feel in a way that nobody else ever had. That you were the best thing to ever come along and happen to them. And now today, they're telling you that they can't give you what you need and they've lost their feelings for you? It makes no sense. And you keep on blaming yourself. You must have done something wrong, right? Wrong. Actually, this is what a dismissive avoidant or a fearful avoidant that leans dismissive does when their fears are triggered. This goes back to childhood. This is a person that was emotionally neglected by their parents or caretakers. They were not shown love and nurturing in the way they needed as a kid, and their feelings were routinely dismissed. So what this taught them is, if you rely on anybody else for your emotional needs, you're going to get abandoned. You're going to get rejected. So fast forward to your relationship. Emotional intimacy was building, especially when you had that wonderful getaway together, or you had that big event, or family and friends met. That was generating and building emotional intimacy between the two of you, because the two of you were growing close and everything was going wonderfully. And because everything was going wonderfully, that's why they ended it. That is precisely what triggered them. They didn't get triggered because you did something wrong. They got triggered because the relationship was going fantastic. It's a reflection of them and their unhealed attachment wounds. As emotional intimacy is growing, their fears of abandonment get triggered. Because, again, from childhood, they've learned to associate emotional closeness with abandonment. So as closeness is growing, their fears are heightening. And it can cause them to deactivate, just like that. When they deactivate, they take their feelings for their partner, they stuff them, they bury them. They don't allow themselves to access their own feelings for their partner. It's how the avoidant has learned to keep themselves safe. It's in the name avoidant. They avoid. And some of the things that they avoid are emotions. They don't process them, they suppress them. Problems. They don't handle problems, they run from them. And they also avoid accountability and self-reflection. That's why you get the nonsensical answers, because this is a person that is filled with an enormous amount of fear, but does not reflect on why. And because they don't reflect on why, that is why they give you the vague answers. Think about it. If you have all these fears, but you refuse to think about them and process them, how can you possibly articulate them in any kind of coherent manner to your partner? You can't. So when the avoidant gets triggered, they go into protection mode. They push their partner away and they run from the relationship because their fear is elevated to the point where their entire nervous system is on fire. And the only way that they know how to protect themselves is to ruin a perfectly good relationship. But this person, when they have their fears elevated, they are only thinking of themselves in this moment. They are not thinking of how traumatic this is to the other person. They're actually not considering your feelings at all when they do an abrupt discard. They're not trying to hurt you, but they're not going out of their way to not hurt you. It's all about them in that moment. It's all about what they perceive that they want, need, feel, or fear. They're only considering themselves. And that makes it all that much more traumatizing because they're so deactivated so instantly, and you are in enormous pain, and they're not even showing you empathy. That's because they've taken their feelings, they've suppressed them, they've buried them. So just yesterday, this person was telling you how wonderful you are. Today, they're ditching you with vague excuses and showing no empathy. It is absolutely traumatizing. There is no other word that is strong enough to explain how traumatizing it is. And this can take someone a very long time to get over. But getting over it can happen. And part of that is understanding that it's not your fault. You didn't cause this. The relationship was going wonderfully. You didn't do anything wrong to trigger this. These are unhealed attachment wounds from childhood in the avoidant. So don't blame yourself for that. So when you stop blaming yourself and you understand why this person behaves the way they do, and you also stop the rumination, every time you start to think about the wonderful memories, you also remind yourself of the not so good side of them, which is the side that discarded you. You take them slowly off the pedestal. Doing these things will help you heal and move on. It may feel like you will be trapped in the cycle for an eternity of pain. However, healing is possible. It is possible to move on. And then one of the most important things you can do for yourself is learn to spot the red flags so you don't go through this again. Because again, it truly is the most traumatizing kind of breakup because you get no closure, no empathy, no answers, and it hits you like a freight train out of nowhere without warning.